All right, guys, so we're here for our third episode. I'm really excited that we're getting a little bit of momentum. We're building each and every day. So the podcast, is working in a very good direction. But I'm happy to have guests on our show. These, again, are people that I work with every day and have crossed over, not only just coworkers, but, I consider friends. And I want to introduce, we got Mr. Juan Santana on the show, which, he's been, for me, it's been something that has been, what am I trying to say? But
where are you going with that?
He doesn't know what I've been for him. He doesn't know. It's too much.
A brother.
I was going to do that, but I wanted to say something nice about Juan.
You couldn't even come up with it.
You can't come up with it. No, you can't come up with it. If it was on a personal show, he'll say nice things.
That was me and Joe.
But when it comes to business, you can't come up with something nice.
Business has been that, especially during this time. He has been by my side. Don't you dare. He's been by my side in making sure that, I'm dotting my I's and crossing my T's in the tech world.
Wow.
and really sharpening my skills in this time where we've had to pivot and really start to do different things to drum up business. So,
yes, that's right.
He's definitely a leader. And I'm always looking to him for advice on a lot of things, and we collaborate, in certain levels. But for the most part, it has always been that I am 6 months behind on anything that he says, because it'll always be, Joe, we said this 6 months ago, and I'm like, we're 6 months behind, buddy.
It's a true story.
We're always 6 months behind. So.
It's a true story.
You know when twins are born and one's like, I'm older,
Yes.
and it was like 3 minutes?
Yes.
That's you two.
Yes, correct. Meanwhile, we're 10 years apart.
I know.
To the month, right?
Yeah,
Joe?
exactly.
Yeah.
So we have Aliyah Kaba, right? And she's not, I guess, the first episode, on the podcast, but have definitely been part of, some of the social media aspects and have been on one of the things that we've done before.
Nothing nice?
No, because it got me in trouble before. So I'm like, skip that part,
All right, go ahead.
Alexis is the first time on a podcast, also social media, right?
Welcome.
Thank you.
And I think this is going to be a good start for
One of the rising stars on
I
the team.
think so, yeah. Rising
My
star on
hands
the
are
team.
super clammy, guys.
Why?
A little nervous.
Oh, it'll be fine.
please.
It'll be
Just
fine.
smile.
It's
say
only
hello.
us, so
We
it doesn't
talk all day
matter.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But-
Well, we whisper.
Well, no.
Juan reads our lips.
Who was the woman, I always keep saying it, from Police Academy? Hooks. It was Hooks, I think her name was. You're like, hello,
There's not a lot of
Sergeant.
people that have seen that movie.
No, I know. Because it's an
Especially
80s.
now.
It's an 80s show. I mean, or a movie, but
Me and
whatever.
Aliyah were born in the 90s.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. All right.
1994, here we go. Graduating high school. Nah,
That's when we were born.
I know.
Well,
It's
I
what it
was.
is. Listen, there is a disparity. I have realized that I've come into this world where I'm a senior to a certain degree amongst my coworkers, and that's okay.
You're our
'cause-
manager.
Yeah.
It's okay to be older
you know
than
what
us.
I love about this podcast is that, what you're doing.
Yeah.
In film and video and putting yourself out there. It really keeps all of us accountable. To really say, you know what, if Joe can do it, if this one can do it, we have to be able to showcase what we do every day. A lot of the team members, Aliyah, Alexis, you, and other people on the team, home team, a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of work behind the scenes to get people educated. And, right now, I feel like maybe you guys are feeling it. I feel like I'm working 4 times, 5 times as much for half the work. Forget about the pay, half the work.
Yeah.
And, there was a time in the market when you guys started that, somebody got a pre-approval, they got a contract in 2 days or a week or 2 weeks.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that are out there searching, and they're not getting a home. I have buyers that have been searching for a year, for 6 months, and we're talking twice a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at this point, the loan, I'm working for free, right?
Yeah.
Because even if the loan closes, there is no hourly rate, there's no salary. I mean, this is just time and time invested. And I want to point out that it's important for people everywhere. Like, whether you're a first-time home buyer, an investor, like really take the time to, if you're going to commit to be a part of this home ownership experience in whatever circle you're in, let's do it. Let's do it right? You know, let's invest the time. Let's be good about it. Let's really be intentional. Let's be purposeful.
So I always say to all my first-time homebuyer clients is that you need to be aggressive.
Yeah.
So when you're out there, you know the numbers because we've gone over them with the pre-approval. You've committed to that level. You committed to with a real estate agent, but now you have to be aggressive. This is not the time for you to be like, well, you know, purchase price is $500. I'm going to go in and offer $480. You ain't getting anything in this time, or looking for a specific deal that just isn't out there. And so you have to be intentional. You have to be purposeful in the sense of, I want to own a home, so I need to make sure that I'm being aggressive with the offers that I'm putting in. And I know my numbers. If you're comfortable with the payments, forget where the rates are at or where the prices are. If you're comfortable with your monthly payment, then I feel like you need to make sure that you're putting in your best foot to actually get an accepted offer and then get into contract.
And on top of that, right, the biggest thing right now is everything's expensive, right? And I wanted to share this with you, Joe, the other day. I was in the car and I had a conversation. The gentleman was like, well, you know, I just want to make sure I can get pre-approved because everything is expensive. It's just so expensive to buy. Yeah. And I told the person, I said, what is cheap? Like, tell me what is cheap right now to buy. Yeah. Like, are eggs cheap?
No.
Nothing. Is gasoline cheap?
Going back
are
to
clothes?
what Joe was saying about being aggressive, and you guys were saying in the beginning, I think it takes a lot of people one or two houses that they fall in love with and don't get
and they
to
lose
realize.
It.
Yeah,
right.
And they're like, oh, you were right. And then they understand more. But
Correct.
I feel like a lot of people, they need that first heartbreak to trust us.
That's
and
true.
To
I see that. I see that a lot.
keep moving forward.
And I feel bad for the guy that, like, the client of mine for a year that got the first heartbreak, and he's been
Right, it's sad.
that could have been it, but now he's on 12 months.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, and he's part of these programs. These first-time homebuyers are here forever.
Yeah.
He's been a part of the process where the program was there, it was gone, and it came back, and now it might leave again, and he might not be able to find something.
Right. Right.
And I'm not saying that he's not being aggressive or he's being too picky. No, you know, the market out there is brutal.
Yeah.
Like, sellers are still getting offers that are more aggressive, that are better terms, and if they hear first-time buyer or they hear a grant or something, you got to have the right people on your team.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's important.
Well, again, it comes down to, I always say that. There's a team aspect to it, and it's having your agent along with your loan officer when you actually are going out there and you're trying to get an accepted offer. You have to make sure that, did I put in the right way? Can I go more than 5% down? Or what does that look like, you know, on the pre-approval, and making sure that it's appeasing to the sell side and that you're getting an accepted offer. And I'll tell you, knowing, and part of what we do in the back end, right, not just, you know, structuring a deal or putting it in, is the networking aspect. And when you network within your own community, those agents on the other side see your name, or that agent is then saying, I know that agent, let me put a call in. Let me make sure that what I'm doing, all that I can do to get an accepted offer in what's out there, because you have 10 offers on one home. What makes you different? Is there a comfortability that you could say, you could speak to Joe? Joe's there, he's the bank. You know, or the agent saying, look, we're all in the same type of mind frame that we want this to go as smoothly as possible. We can do a quick closing if need be. And I've found out a lot of people, because the sell side has to look for something, it's not so much a quick closing anymore. They're like, hey, we're willing to give you X amount of time that you may need that would actually get an accepted offer. So getting creative at the time of putting in your offer, it means a lot. Yeah. And making sure that you have everything locked down from the lender to the agent, and what that looks like for the seller as well, because they're just as nervous on going into the market and trying to find something for themselves. Right. So I just found that is something that we always got to make sure that a buyer understands why it's important and why it's so important to have a team. And I think that that could be something that, you know, for whatever reason, what makes you different? You know, they're just moving on to the next bank, or they're just shopping around, but we're deal makers, you know, for the most part. But I do find it to be an interesting market in the sense that it has been rough, but I find that it's actually starting to turn. Things are starting to build in a way that the deals are starting to come in. At one point, Juan, I think you would know, and you girls as well, that there was a time where this faucet got turned off. And so it was a matter of like, all right, now what? Well, now what? We're gonna build on pivoting and casting out a larger net and making sure that we're consistently out there, belly to belly, building relationships. But now these deals are starting to come in, and it's funny. You said it the other day. You were like, "What's the matter, Joe? No filming? You're more busier than you were." And I had to take notice to that, and that's why I reached out to even Nick. I'm like, "Yo, get in here.
Yeah.
I need someone to hold me accountable, that I make sure that I'm doing all the necessary things that made me successful and have brought in, particular deals, because of that, So it's a mindset of prioritizing what you need to consistently do to make sure that business is coming in.
Well, being on social media is so important because I don't know about you guys, but what do you do when you get home? Scroll. So everyone's just constantly
Going in a
scrolling
hole.
all day long.
Yep.
So, if we're not a part of that scroll, it takes you out of the equation.
Yeah.
Because I know, like for me, if I look up like a restaurant or anything, I go straight to Instagram and TikTok. I look at it. I look at the reviews. I look at videos people make. They're doing that to us too.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
it's really important.
It's definitely happened. And Alexis, I know you're quiet over there, but you definitely have helped me throughout this whole process.
Canva queen.
In making sure. I mean, there was a point I remember specifically when we started doing this and we were talking about it. She literally took my phone and said, "Stop, we're going to film you today." And the reason being was because I have more seniority, so I know maybe a little bit more on the mortgage side to speak in front of a video. And that can go twofold, right? Like there's ways, one, of making sure that people know that you understand your craft and understand your profession. But then I also found out a lot of the things, and especially you would be the one that would be like, "Hey, let's try this." It has nothing to do with mortgages, and next thing you know, they got the most views.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to me on those two sets that would always be something that you have to do twofold. You have to give a little bit of the professional side, but also get them to know you, because everyone's watching those videos, and I see them out on the street. I may not know them as much as they think that they know me, and it's because of that. And I'm seeing the reactions, and I did that as well as what you said. Is that I want people to look for me, look for my Instagram, scroll through there. That's who I am. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I happen to do mortgages. I happen to do them very well. But you'll also get to see other facts about me just the same. And I think that's where the YouTube comes in, doing all of that for the podcast, the Google searches, the reviews. It all ties in for a person to say, well, this is what makes me different. And I'm gonna choose to have a conversation with you, and then that's all you can ask for. Give me a shot. Yeah. Juan, how many times do we always ask and say to the people out there and be like, to a borrower, to an agent, and be like, all I'm asking for is a shot. Just give me a shot. And it's our job from that point to make sure that we're able to, capture that lead and win them over. So I think that's very important.
I don't think a lot of people know how exhausting it is to be a loan officer, because there's so much that goes into it outside of dealing with the agents and the clients, in retrospect of the marketing, going to networking events, and just always doing something different to gain business.
Yeah.
It's like a full day
Full-time job.
If you want to get into real estate or mortgages just because you want a flexible schedule, there's really no flexibility because it's all day long. You're doing something to add more business to the business that you already have.
Yeah. Listen, going to the events again has always been, initially it was where it was at. I still think it is, but it's now moved over into doing things like this to stay relevant, because everybody searches on the phone. And if you're staying relevant there and then belly to belly with people at the events, it just compounds it that much more. And so, yeah, it becomes a full-time job. You have to prioritize. You have to make sure that you're doing certain things, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
You have to build a specific foundation. Hey, I'm part of this industry now. Who are you? I don't know who you are. I've never met you before. That has to go away so that at a certain point, whether you got the deal or not, maybe your deal comes across their desk as the sell side. They're not turning you down because they know who you are. And that comes with all the hard work of getting out there and doing that on a day-to-day basis. The weekends come. It's a big part of it. You are not hanging out with your family. You're in those open houses. And primarily, it may not necessarily be where you're getting the leads, but you're also making sure that you're building the relationships with the agents and the agents coming in.
Yeah.
So it's not just that one agent on the listing side, but you have agents coming in with their buyers, and you're being introduced to them, and all of a sudden it just, I remember you were at that particular house. So I think when you do all of those different things, it all works in tandem, and it helps you become a successful loan officer. That's the platform that we are. We're not the platform that sits in a branch and has walk-in traffic. And you work with the personal bankers around you to try to uncover the needs that they may have. That's where a lot of the larger banks are. But for us, we want to stay part of the community. And I think that that's a big factor. I've realized that recently, that as much as I'm in this mortgage industry and realizing how long I've been in it, I'm part of a community, not just a church community or a gym community. There is a community within our real estate world that we all kind of acknowledge together, And,
we all know each other.
Right. We all know each other. We all maybe joke around with each other. I was actually at my daughter's, there was an award ceremony. And I looked around and there was a few people and I'm like, real estate, and whether they were agents or attorneys and what have you. But, you're part of this community that people rely on in a local market and know those are the who's who that helps generate the business that we have today.
Yeah.
So, is there something, and I don't mean to harp on you, I want to get something out of you that I think, especially being brand new into this industry, and you really came into it, it still was it wasn't a very busy season, was it?
No.
No. So you've been with us for a year now. Yeah. So within that year, you are now part of this industry that all you hear about is this past of how the good times roll and 1980s stock market basically, right?
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street kind of stuff. But and to a certain degree, I think it was there. We enjoyed it. We had some great times.
It was definitely there.
It was there. It was there. I'm trying to play it
From the
down
stories
very
I hear,
nicely.
Playing it down.
It was there.
It was
There
very
are
fun.
images of Wolf of Wall Street that are going off in my head, and I'm like, no, yeah, maybe. I mean, what's your take on this industry at this moment? Because it's not easy, and you can bear all.
Like I said, I think if you have to work hard, I think you have to work triple harder now in this type of market. And I feel like I'm always on the go and I'm always trying to figure out new ways to gain business. If I wake up in the morning and I'm having my coffee, I'm doing my social media and I'm trying not to forget to do social media. And then I'm following up with my clients, touching base with my previous clients, trying to touch base with my agents, trying to learn about new agents that are out there. And I feel like it's trying not to reinvent the wheel, but trying to stay on top of doing all these different money-making activities so that you get business.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I think one of your biggest characteristics or the knowledge that you have that comes very easy is the marketing aspect. You market yourself very well, and you can do that at a rapid rate that I stare at the screen and struggle with. And it's really what it is. And I'm reminded of my age, but it's twofold that kudos to you for one, taking the time to learn that, because I remember how you did learn that and how you told me how you came into that marketing aspect and what that means in drawing people's attention to whether it's a specific event or drawing attention to yourself. And I think that you can use that translatable skill into drumming up clientele, referral partners, or even borrowers. That's the key, right? If we can turn the leads from the borrower calling you, and you got, I always say it's Willy Wonka's chocolate, it's the golden ticket, you know, it
That
really
was like
is.
my last deal. I got it from a DM from a person that I honestly wasn't following. They were following me. Hey, I'm looking to buy my parents' house. Can you help me? And we were able to close the deal for them.
Awesome.
Yeah, just by putting out, stories and posts. And obviously, you don't want to overflood your Instagram. You want to keep it personable. But it's amazing to see that there's ways to connect with people that you might not even be able to see face to face.
I think that's the key word.
It works.
Yeah.
It's the connecting.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that people are looking to hear a story that is relatable.
Yeah.
When before social media was popular in our world, not too long ago, in our social networks, it was very important for us when we're networking with our referral partners or whatever to explain and speak about the stories, like the wins that we got for our clients and everything. And those stories are very hard to tell now in person. But if you can continue to do that on social media, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people can relate to the reality of what's going on.
Yeah.
That video we did with the rent, that
was a great video.
Like rent versus
Yeah.
buy,
Yeah.
people still to this day are like, man, you're so right. It's relatable.
Yeah.
People are renting right now. Like I had a childhood friend hit me up. It's like, all right, that's it. I can't do it anymore. I gotta buy. And I was like, well, okay. I was like, let's do it.
Right.
She's like, I don't want to waste time. Just tell me what I need. Let's just get it done. I saw your video again. It's like it hit home. It's true.
Yeah.
Because the more the time you waste, and I don't think it's mortgages. It's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like anything in life, if you procrastinate or waste time, it's just compounding the effect of making it worse. Whatever you do, it just happens to do that we do mortgages, but
Yeah.
I think it's relatable in anything you do.
And when you say procrastination in life, that was me to a T with social media to all of this that has transpired. And the comments now that you're such a natural is mind-boggling.
It takes
to
a
me.
lot.
It does.
It takes so much.
It does. But I knew, again, I literally, this has been going on for like 2 years in my head, saying, I know, because every day you're supposed to wake up, am I doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing? And I would say yes, except for
Social media.
social media.
Well, branding. Everybody says
And
social
and
media.
Yeah,
branding.
branding.
That's the old word is social media. Social
Yeah.
media just means that you're socializing online.
Yeah.
But it's not. You're supposed to brand.
And market yourself.
And market yourself. And it's true. Like, well, it's funny. I was speaking about branding. If we're
Right.
talking about branding, right? I was doing branding consistently for a long time, for like months and months and months and months. And then I dialed back, like a little social experiment. You could call it whatever.
Sure.
And and then when I started doing it again, it's like, wow, it really is a difference.
Turn
Yeah.
the machines on.
And not just deals, but just the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The relatable conversations.
Yeah.
People think they know you because they see a video and then they start talking to you like, who are you?
Yeah.
But it works.
In a way, they do know you.
They do.
This is
But I feel bad because I don't know them.
Right.
So I want to get to
But
know
it
them.
is a warm introduction.
It is a
like,
warm-
I use
yes.
it sometimes, like,
Yes.
but we know each other. Like, because, things are awkward sometimes when you follow someone and you never
Yes.
met them.
Yes.
But I'm like, yeah, I know you. I know that yada, yada, yada. You went to eat sushi last night. Because we are literally fully in each other's lives.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know about their kids. You know about their boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, what they do for fun. It's an easier way to start a conversation because you do already know what
It's
they
organic.
like to do.
It's organic.
And that right there is a key component in building your business because people want to do business with people that they like. And they always...
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you right away, I don't want to do business.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Right?
You're
This ain't
right.
gonna work. This not gonna work. No
Let
problem.
me check this person's social profile. But that's okay too.
Yeah.
Because it comes back to the same thing as time.
Yeah.
Let's not waste each other's time.
Right.
Let's be purposeful while we're here. What are we doing? How can I help you? And what is the difference? I mean, literally, that's really the number one thing in our market. And you ladies do a wonderful job. Wonderful job of cutting through the noise. Like, we're all on a team, but we're all going against after this. We're in the same market.
Right.
We're in the same profile, the same industry. Everybody has to make a decision to say, well, am I going to call Joe today or am I going to call Alexis today?
Yeah.
But everybody does it. But you ladies do a great job of capturing audience. And I think people need to hear that. People need to hear what you do, how you do it. Like what you said earlier, that's awesome. Like what you're saying is like, wow, she really did pay attention the last 12 months. I'm proud. I'm a little proud. I'm
I
like,
did have to re-record
she said
Joe's
MMA. She
videos
said
like
MMA.
7,000 times, so there was a lot of grasping of
Grasping,
knowledge,
and there you go.
re-recording his videos.
You know, that should be
was
right
it.
there, part of the training for
She
you
used
want
to
to get
say
into a
that
loan
too.
officer.
She'd be like, I don't mind it.
Say it again. You're learning.
You know,
You're
she's
learning.
Like, she
Yeah.
was learning.
on the
Yeah.
job,
You know?
on the job. What is it? OTB with an on-the-job training? What was it
On-the-job
called?
training.
On-the-job training.
That's right.
You should actually promote that. Be like, if you ever do want to happen to fall into this industry,
Start here.
They need help.
call Alexis, call Leah. We have a on-the-job training platform for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome because I'm very proud of you both. I mean, Aliyah, you came from a different industry. Tell us a little about it. You were in the
I planned
School
events.
and then planning events,
School,
right.
Events. COVID crashed my world down. And it was really fun being unemployed, working out every day. No. Yeah, I came from a totally different place, but it's looking back, it's what I was doing before was very similar to what I do now.
customer service.
Customer service, contracts, dealing with people, talking every day about a huge transaction. Relationships. Just I think my strength would be making people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So, whether it's the agent, the client, whoever it is, they know they can always reach me and talk through whatever they have to talk through so we can get it done.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
I heard you on the phone sometimes, and a lot of you talking to your clients. And one thing I got to give you guys, it's important that you can read people, right? I don't know if you guys have read this book. I read Raving Fans over and over again.
I read it.
You ever read it?
Yeah.
The 1%. You ever read it?
No.
It's
We got it. It's mailed to us for free.
I know.
I knew it. As soon as I was like, I don't know what else to say.
A year,
No.
a year behind? Yes. That's 6 months.
Give me the audio version. I may say that I read it.
Anyway, so I could sum it up. Like 1% more is all you need. If you do 1% more than anybody else, you win over the relationship, the bond, the rapport, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that, whatever they're going through at the moment, and they're on the phone with you, it's not you.
Yeah.
Rule number
Yeah.
1, don't take anything personal.
Yeah.
Right? It's not you.
Where'd you learn that?
Yeah.
Leah Collins.
And that's a very good skill you have. You always know how to bring. Well, my boss used to say that, like, mirror the client, but like mirror the energy. Like every time someone talks to you, I could be talking to you and I'm high strung off a phone call, and then I talk to you, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I'm
you
good.
calm me down, like you bring me down, like
Yeah.
So that's really important. You
Yeah.
definitely have that. I'm proud of that. Read that in the book, and I try to remember that. I try to put the calls on speaker for Alexis to hear and everything like that. You hear me sometimes. I'm high strung, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, let me calm down and let me match the client.
Well,
and mirror
I
the
think
client.
that again comes down to we've spoken about that on a different episode, but it was more of being in the office is a key part in the very beginning stages of trying to make sure that you're listening. You're listening to whether it's the way I sell or the way you sell or handle a specific situation could be completely different.
Disclaimer, I did fight my way into that office. I unscrewed a desk, put a desk back together. I was like, there's
True.
no way I'm not sitting next to the 2 top loan officers in this
You did do that.
company
Yes.
and not
much kudos.
learn.
Much kudos.
I'm sorry. I need to be next to you guys.
Well,
I
It's
wanna-
important. That's
Yeah.
how we all learned in
Yes.
the beginning. And I think you guys don't realize how much we learned just from sitting around.
Marco,
Polo.
no.
I said polo. Nervous.
Because I
Yeah,
just
I've had
remember.
bad deals,
I remember.
Joe.
No, but it was. You were just like, now
Okay.
what? Now
So
what?
I realized-
and it was just going through it.
The reason why it's so stressful in the beginning is because you don't know the next step.
Yes.
And there's so many different steps. And
There's a lot
so
of
many
steps.
unique steps for so many different borrowers
Yeah.
that there's not like this is the right way to go about this transaction. Because
Correct.
things get off the wagon all the time.
Yes.
But there's so many different ways that it gets off the wagon.
No
There's-
mortgage is the
yeah,
same.
Exactly.
I will tell you this, and this has helped me in my career. The moment I shifted from and making sure that the client and the referral partner and all the parties involved felt through email or phone calls or whatever, or in person, that I was actually sitting next to them as a passenger and
Yeah.
not the authoritative figure on the deal, things change.
I feel like I buy the house with them.
Right.
I'm moving in.
That's very
really
important.
how I feel.
You know, a lot of people walk into Chase or any bank, regardless of what the bank is, and they feel like they're combating something. You know, you're going against. You're trying to get approval from an authoritative institution.
Yeah.
Right.
It's more like, oh no, I don't own the bank. I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
Right.
I work for you, the
Understand, I
client.
work for you, and understand what's going on and guide you. And if you are stressed, call me. We'll go through the stress together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not me.
No. Do you know how many phone calls, first-time home buyers specifically, phone calls I've had that tell me, I've been putting this off, but I don't know why. Like, I feel like we're cool now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know what this was going to be, and I was nervous, but it's literally nothing.
And I think it's building the relationship with the client. And I feel like that's what sets us apart. We talk to them all day, every day.
And
through
you have
the
to know that
whole
you're human.
transaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like we build that bond with them. It's to the point like I have a client that's relocating from North Carolina to Jersey, and I hear the stress in her voice, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm like, are you moving this weekend? She's like, yeah, I'm moving down. I'm like, if you need me to help you move boxes, however I can help when you land in Jersey, call me. Like, that's really
You don't
what
wanna
I'm
do that,
essentially
Joe?
here.
Therapy.
You're a great loan officer. Let me tell you.
But that's exactly what they said. They were like, wow, like we were dealing with another lender. I don't think they would ever had offer that service. And I just feel like I've been there, I've moved, and I haven't moved state to state, but the moving process is crazy. And I feel like in the middle of purchasing a home, it's even more crazier.
Yeah.
It can be, and I think, again, it's just a matter of making sure that you're doing all that you can to separate yourself from another loan officer or another bank, and it's clearly done that way, you know?
Well, we're coming up on 45 minutes, I think.
Are we?
No.
Wow.
I
You
left my
didn't
desk.
have to
I left my
mention that.
desk at 2:45.
I
You
guess
know
we
we
have
have
to
a
go.
timer. His timer's about to go
No,
off.
my phone's blowing up. I have to get things. I have to get going.
Before he left his desk, he said, "Hey Siri, put a 45-minute timer
Yeah, his
to
watch
record."
vibrated.
I do. Everything's timed. I
Oh my
have
God,
to.
Siri's
Okay.
doing it right now.
I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I know time is of our value, but you know we'll get you guys on another episode, and I do appreciate it. So
Thanks,
thanks
Joe.
again, and look forward to the next one. I appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Awesome. Do you mind if I do a couple of videos, like 30-second videos?
Are you serious?
Are you kidding me?
That was
I do.
You kicked it
Just